The implications are enormous, not just for military planners in Washington, but for global trade, international alliances, and the balance of power in the Indo-Pacific. The question now is whether America can recalibrate its strategy to operate in these waters without risking a major confrontation, and whether diplomacy can keep escalation from turning into outright conflict. China's establishment of a naval trap in the Pacific represents a significant strategic development with far-reaching implications for regional security and global power dynamics, fundamentally altering the operational environment for the United States and its allies. This trap is not a single installation or fleet maneuver, but rather a comprehensive system of layered defenses combining anti-ship missile batteries, advanced submarines, electronic warfare capabilities, and an extensive network of surveillance platforms that together create a highly contested maritime environment. Analysts describe it as a sophisticated anti-access area denial strategy designed to prevent any foreign naval force from freely entering critical parts of the Western Pacific without facing significant risk of detection, engagement, and potentially catastrophic losses. The trap is strategically positioned to cover vital sea lanes, choke points, and island chains, effectively controlling access to regions that are crucial not only for military purposes, but also for international trade, energy routes, and regional connectivity. By integrating long-range precision missiles with stealthy underwater assets and real-time intelligence feeds, China has created a situation in which naval operations by opposing forces are no longer a matter of simple maneuvering, but a high-stakes game of risk assessment, where even routine movements can trigger deadly encounters. For the United States, which has traditionally relied on forward-deployed carrier strike groups and freedom of navigation operations to assert influence in the Indo-Pacific, this development represents a dramatic shift in the calculus of maritime engagement. Planners must now consider the possibility that any incursion into these contested waters could lead to rapid escalation, with highly capable Chinese assets capable of targeting and disabling multiple ships before a coordinated response can be mounted. The creation of this naval trap also has a psychological dimension, signaling to regional actors and global observers that China possesses the technological and operational sophistication to defend its maritime interests aggressively, potentially deterring intervention and shaping regional perceptions of power. Beyond immediate military considerations, the trap complicates broader strategic objectives, including alliance coordination, humanitarian response, and deterrence postures, as forces operating in or near the Pacific must constantly account for the risk of engagement in a highly controlled and monitored environment. The development of this system reflects a broader Chinese strategy aimed at asserting dominance in the Indo-Pacific, projecting power, and ensuring that its interests, both economic and security-related, are safeguarded against external interference. The operational complexity of the trap, combined with its strategic positioning, creates a scenario in which traditional U.S. naval doctrines and tactics may no longer be sufficient, requiring new approaches to force deployment, risk management, and coalition operations. At the same time, the trap underscores the importance of intelligence, surveillance, reconnaissance, and electronic warfare capabilities in modern naval strategy, demonstrating how integrated systems can dramatically alter the balance of power without the need for overt large-scale engagements. Ultimately, China's naval trap is a testament to the evolution of maritime strategy in the 21st century, where technological sophistication, layered defenses, and strategic foresight combine to create formidable barriers to access, challenging even the most capable naval powers and forcing a reconsideration of how freedom of movement, deterrence, and power projection are executed in contested international waters. China's deployment of advanced anti-ship missiles, submarines, and surveillance systems to create strategic choke points in the Pacific represents a significant evolution in maritime warfare and regional power projection, reshaping the operational environment for the United States and its allies in ways that carry profound geopolitical implications. These assets are carefully integrated into a comprehensive anti-access area denial A2/AD strategy designed to control critical sea lanes, choke points, and island chains, effectively limiting the freedom of movement for foreign naval forces and imposing severe operational risks on any military attempting to operate within the contested zones. The anti-ship missile systems deployed by China are long-range, precision-guided, and capable of striking multiple targets simultaneously, including aircraft carriers, destroyers, and amphibious assault vessels, rendering traditional surface formations vulnerable to rapid and coordinated attacks. These missile batteries are often complemented by mobile launch platforms and camouflage installations, enhancing their survivability and complicating enemy targeting efforts. Submarines form a second critical layer in China's strategy, with both diesel-electric and nuclear-powered vessels patrolling the Pacific and providing stealthy, persistent threats to any incursive forces. These submarines are equipped with torpedoes, anti-ship missiles, and intelligence-gathering tools, allowing them to monitor, shadow, and engage adversaries with precision while remaining difficult to detect in vast oceanic areas. This combination of missile and submarine capabilities creates a multidimensional threat environment in which any approaching naval force must operate under the constant risk of detection, targeting, and engagement, fundamentally altering traditional concepts of maneuver and force projection. Surveillance systems form the backbone of China's operational awareness, integrating satellites, radar installations, sonar arrays, unmanned aerial vehicles, and electronic intelligence platforms into a real-time, networked monitoring system. This network allows Chinese forces to track ship movements, anticipate maneuvers, and coordinate strikes with remarkable speed and accuracy, effectively creating a kill zone around strategically important maritime areas. Electronic warfare systems further enhance this capability by disrupting communications, jamming sensors, and creating confusion in enemy command structures, increasing the likelihood of miscalculations or delayed responses during high-intensity encounters. Together, these systems create an operational environment in which even routine patrols or reconnaissance missions by the US, Navy, or allied forces carry significant risk, requiring complex planning, layered defenses, and continuous intelligence support to mitigate potential losses. The strategic positioning of these assets across the Pacific, particularly near island chains, key shipping lanes, and disputed maritime zones, amplifies their effectiveness, allowing China to exert influence over both military and commercial activities, shape the operational tempo of potential adversaries, and project power far beyond its immediate coastal regions. For the United States, the emergence of these capabilities challenges long-standing doctrines of naval superiority, freedom of navigation operations, and forward-deployed power projection. Carrier strike groups, which have historically been symbols of American military reach and deterrence, are now exposed to coordinated missile strikes and submarine ambushes, increasing the potential for significant losses in a contested environment. The risk calculus has shifted dramatically, forcing planners to consider not only the physical vulnerability of ships, but also the strategic, political, and diplomatic consequences of engaging in operations within these contested waters. Moreover, these developments have broader implications for alliance coordination and regional security architecture, as partners and allies in the Indo-Pacific must reassess their own naval deployments, threat assessments, and contingency plans in light of China's enhanced capabilities. The psychological dimension of this strategy is equally important, as the presence of advanced missile, submarine, and surveillance systems serves as both a deterrent and a signal to the international community. By demonstrating the ability to control critical maritime regions and impose potentially devastating consequences on intruding forces, China conveys a message of strength and operational sophistication, influencing regional perceptions of power, risk, and the feasibility of intervention. This signaling is carefully calibrated, balancing the projection of defensive capability with the assertion of strategic influence, while maintaining plausible deniability regarding aggressive intentions. The combination of technological sophistication and strategic positioning underscores the evolving nature of naval warfare, where control of information, sensor networks, and rapid strike capability can outweigh traditional numerical superiority or conventional fleet composition. The operational impact of China's anti-ship and submarine deployments extends beyond immediate military engagements, influencing strategic planning, force development, and investment priorities for the United States and its partners. Naval planners must now account for layered threats, extended sensor coverage, and the integrated nature of China's 2/AD systems when designing missions, training personnel, and procuring new platforms. This environment also emphasizes the importance of joint operations, multi-domain integration, and coalition coordination, as overcoming or mitigating the effectiveness of China's assets requires synchronized efforts across air, sea, space, cyber, and electronic warfare domains. The complexity and lethality of these systems mean that even limited operations carry heightened risks, underscoring the need for careful risk assessment, redundancy, and rapid decision-making under conditions of uncertainty. Beyond immediate military considerations, the deployment of advanced missiles, submarines, and surveillance systems has implications for global trade, economic security, and regional stability. The choke points controlled by these capabilities are vital arteries for shipping, energy transport, and supply chains, meaning that any disruption could reverberate far beyond the Indo-Pacific, affecting markets, international commerce, and geopolitical alignments. As a result, China's maritime posture exerts influence not only through direct military deterrence, but also by shaping the broader strategic environment in which commercial and diplomatic activities take place. Ultimately, China's deployment of advanced anti-ship missiles, submarines, and surveillance systems to create strategic choke points represents a transformative development in the balance of power in the Pacific. It challenges conventional naval doctrines, elevates operational risk for the United States and its allies, and reshapes the strategic and psychological landscape of the region. The integrated and multi-layered nature of these capabilities forces a reassessment of force deployment, alliance coordination, and contingency planning, while highlighting the increasingly complex and technology-driven character of modern maritime warfare. By controlling access to critical maritime regions and projecting power through a combination of precision strike, stealth, and real-time intelligence, China has established a formidable deterrent and an operational reality that the United States and its partners must navigate with caution, strategic foresight, and coordinated response to maintain security, stability, and influence in the Indo-Pacific. The United States faces potential catastrophic losses if it attempts to operate in the Pacific without carefully recalibrating its strategy in response to China's newly established naval defenses, highlighting the profound shift in the balance of power and the evolving risks of modern maritime warfare. Analysts describe a highly contested environment where American forces, long accustomed to projecting power through forward-deployed fleets and carrier strike groups, now confront a multi-layered threat ecosystem designed to detect, track, and neutralize intruding vessels before they can maneuver or respond effectively. The combination of long-range anti-ship missiles, stealthy submarines, electronic warfare capabilities, and integrated surveillance networks creates a scenario in which conventional naval operations are no longer sufficient to guarantee safety, requiring a complete reassessment of tactics, force composition, and risk management strategies. Each element of China's defensive architecture is carefully positioned to exploit vulnerabilities in traditional naval doctrines, creating overlapping zones of threat that extend from coastal areas to critical choke points and disputed islands, effectively closing off large portions of the Pacific to unescorted or inadequately protected fleets. For American naval planners, this presents not only a physical challenge but a strategic dilemma, as the risk of losing high-value ships and personnel could have cascading consequences for deterrence credibility, alliance confidence, and the ability to maintain freedom of navigation operations in international waters. The anti-ship missile systems deployed by China are a central component of this threat environment, featuring long-range precision-guided munitions capable of striking targets at distances that exceed the effective reach of many defensive countermeasures. These missiles, often paired with mobile launch platforms and redundancy in targeting systems, create uncertainty and force operational planners to consider worst-case scenarios, including the simultaneous engagement of multiple vessels or the rapid disabling of command and control ships that coordinate fleet movements. Submarines complement these capabilities, operating stealthily to track, shadow, and, if necessary, engage U.S. and allied forces. Equipped with torpedoes, anti-ship missiles, and advanced sonar systems, these undersea assets are difficult to detect and can strike with lethal effect, creating a persistent and unpredictable threat that further complicates any attempt to enter or maneuver within contested waters. The integration of electronic warfare and surveillance networks compounds this challenge, as radar arrays, satellites, unmanned aerial systems, and electronic intelligence platforms provide real-time situational awareness for Chinese forces, allowing them to anticipate, counter, and neutralize incursions before they escalate into full-scale engagements. The operational impact of these deployments is profound. Traditional doctrines of carrier strike groups, surface action groups, and amphibious task forces rely on freedom of maneuver, coordinated strikes, and layered defenses, assumptions that are increasingly challenged by the sophistication and density of China's maritime defenses. Commanders must account for the potential loss of key platforms in initial engagements, the difficulty of maintaining supply lines under threat, and the possibility of contested communication channels due to electronic interference. This environment demands new operational concepts, including dispersed formations, distributed lethality, unmanned support systems, and multi-domain coordination across air, sea, space, and cyber domains to mitigate the risk of catastrophic losses and preserve combat effectiveness. Even with technological superiority, U.S. forces must operate under heightened caution, as any miscalculation could result in irreversible damage to both human and material assets. The strategic consequences extend beyond immediate battlefield considerations. The potential loss of ships or personnel in a poorly managed incursion could have severe political ramifications, undermining public confidence, alliance cohesion, and regional deterrence postures. Allies observing American operations in the Indo-Pacific may question the feasibility of collective security commitments if the perceived risk is too high, while adversaries may interpret missteps as opportunities to expand influence or test response thresholds. This dynamic emphasizes the interplay between operational risk and geopolitical signaling, as the United States must balance the demonstration of resolve and capability with the imperative to avoid unnecessary escalation or catastrophic engagements. The presence of these integrated Chinese defenses also affects commercial and economic considerations, as critical sea lanes for energy, trade, and supply chains pass through the very areas now under surveillance and protection, meaning that military conflict could have immediate and far-reaching impacts on global markets, logistics, and international stability. The psychological and deterrence effects of China's multi-layered naval posture cannot be underestimated. By demonstrating the ability to track, target, and engage intruding forces across multiple domains, China projects an image of operational sophistication and strategic control that serves to dissuade potential incursions. US commanders, therefore, must navigate not only the physical threats posed by missiles and submarines, but also the uncertainty inherent in a high-risk operational environment where miscalculations can have disproportionate consequences. Training, intelligence, and readiness are critical, as forces must anticipate complex threat interactions and respond effectively under pressure, with every movement scrutinized by an adversary capable of acting decisively and with lethal precision. This situation necessitates a re-evaluation of force deployment, operational planning, and alliance coordination. Joint exercises, interoperability, and contingency planning with regional partners are more important than ever, as dispersing risk, enhancing situational awareness, and leveraging coalition capabilities may provide avenues to mitigate losses while maintaining strategic influence. Investments in unmanned systems, cyber operations, electronic warfare, and long-range precision strike capabilities are increasingly critical to offset the advantages provided by China's integrated defense architecture. The challenge is not only technological but conceptual, requiring military planners to rethink traditional assumptions about naval dominance, freedom of navigation, and power projection in the 21st century. Ultimately, the potential catastrophic losses facing the United States if it enters contested Pacific waters without adequate preparation underscore the profound implications of China's naval trap. This multi-layered, technologically sophisticated, and strategically positioned system challenges conventional naval doctrines, elevates operational risk, and reshapes the strategic landscape of the Indo-Pacific. American forces must navigate a complex interplay of physical threats, psychological deterrence, alliance management, and geopolitical signaling, while balancing the need to maintain influence, protect trade routes, and deter aggression. The emergence of this environment highlights the evolving nature of modern maritime conflict, where layered defenses, precision strike capabilities, and integrated surveillance networks can dramatically alter the cost-benefit calculations of even the most capable naval power, forcing a reconsideration of strategy, tactics, and risk in one of the most critical regions of the world.